You have said you don't believe in white privilege, correct?
It's a myth. It doesn't exist.
Why are black people in jail at higher rates than white people?
That's the question, right? Maybe because they commit more crimes than white people.
But that's not true. It actually is.
They do. Every independent analysis shows that blacks have committed a disproportionate amount of crime. No one wants to say it out loud, but it's true. In fact, in New York, 52% of murders are committed by blacks, 40+% of arson, 60+% of drug deals. And so the question you should really be asking is what drives them to commit crimes? That's the question, right? The real question is, and maybe I can ask you, what percentage of blacks are raised with two parents in the home?
So according to the Freeform Crime Report for 2019, black or African American individuals committed only about 1 million crimes, while white people committed about 4 million.
Yeah, so
But that's
hold on.
proportion.
Yeah, how about the proportion?
There's a lot more white people than black people in the United
It's a
States.
60% white country and a 14% black country. So you just proved my point.
You have said you don't believe in white privilege, correct?
It's a myth. It doesn't exist.
Why are black people in jail at higher rates than white people?
That's the question, right? Maybe because they commit more crimes than white people.
But that's not true. It actually is.
They do. Every independent analysis shows that blacks have committed a disproportionate amount of crime. No one wants to say it out loud, but it's true. In fact, in New York, 52% of murders are committed by blacks, 40+% of arson, 60+% of drug deals. And so the question you should really be asking is what drives them to commit crimes? That's the question, right? The real question is, and maybe I can ask you, what percentage of blacks are raised with two parents in the home?
So according to the Freeform Crime Report for 2019, black or African American individuals committed only about 1 million crimes, while white people committed about 4 million.
Yeah, so
But that's
hold on.
proportion.
Yeah, how about the proportion?
There's a lot more white people than black people in the United
It's a
States.
60% white country and a 14% black country. So you just proved my point.
Well, what more can I say? What more can I say? More than just the slanderer strikes again. As the scripture say, the wicked go about as soon as they be born, speaking lies, right? Anyhow, I'd like to start off by saying, Kal Halayam, La Alahayanawa, Yahweh Barasham Yahushai, Barasham Kahal Kodash, Barakata Yahweh, Barakata Yahushai, Barakata Yahweh, Barakata Yahushai, Barakata Yahweh, Barakata Yahushai. Double honors unto the apostles and elders of great millstone that rule well. Peace, blessing, salutation unto the brothers who preach and teach the truth throughout the four corners of the earth, risking their lives and their freedoms to do so no more than ever for the truth. And shalom unto the speckled Israelites, and also shalom unto the very few but faithful Akwatiam. Yeah, there's your brother Kahan from the GMS Prophetic Vibration Camp here, back at Toyota. To another lesson, another video to the power and spirit of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. So as you can feel here, alright, Esau, with his lies, alright, with his lies and what have you, and more and more you just get to see the reason, when you end this truth here, more and more you just get to see the reason. Find us speaking a bit too much noise. Yeah, more and more you just get to see the reason, right, I feel like it would be, of one of Elder Malcolm's channel, Critical Race Theory. You know why Esau had to come out with the critical race theory? Garbage, bullcrap, the pseudoscience, and what have you. Alright, now, this is what I would say, alright? You see the ones who not even know, the ones who just blind to the fact of, blind to the fact of who the enemy are, and the leaps and bounds and measures that the enemy had taken over the years. Alright, to oppress our people, yeah, they wouldn't know, they wouldn't have the slightest idea, you know. So they would hear Edomite as that individual there making his false claims and statements and what have you, so forth, and they would believe it. Alright? But for the ones who when they know, they would know that, hey, there's a bag of bull crap, a bag of hogwash that Esau, you know, that Esau been pushing out there. Alright? As well, there's a scripture in Psalms again, boy. Is it Psalms 50:1? I don't know, that's now, bear with me. You must see, is it Psalms 50:1, boy? Psalms 50. Actually 3, you must see. No, bear with me. I will have to type it in. I will have to type it in, man. I'm not doing that. Let's see, let's do up. Psalms 58 and 3 actually. So let's take a look at Psalms 58 and 3. Alright. Alright, so it says, I will start from verse 2. Psalms 58 and 2, it says, Yea, in heart, you work wickedness, you weigh the violence of your hands in the earth. Alright, because, hey, Esau is the violent man. Alright, Esau is the violent man, but as you can see, with all the violence that Esau has pushed forth over the face of the earth, alright, he was still successful in order to establish, in order to, you know, convince the world that us so-called Negroes and Hispanics and Native American Indians and what have you, that we are the most violent. Alright, we are the most atrocious people upon the face of the earth, when that is far from the fact. Alright? But verse 3, the point where I wanted to get at. Alright, the wicked are estranged from the womb, they go astray as soon as they be born, speaking lies. As soon as they be born, speaking lies. Alright? Because we are not the most violent people upon the face of the earth, and we are not viler, yeah, that's exactly. We are not vile and violent as Esau, as the so-called white man. Alright? Now that is not going to take away from the fact that yes, within us Israelite, you know, as a people, you know, a lot of us live a violent lifestyle. A lot of our people live a violent lifestyle, you know, whatnot, so forth, carry out wicked acts, carry out atrocious acts, monstrous acts. We're not going to get away from that fact. We're not going to deny that fact. Alright, but when I take a track record of the so-called white man, and I take a track record of any other nation upon the face of the earth, and you put it in the balance, alright, you would see that the so-called white man, they will tip the scale where violence is concerned. It is a proven fact. Alright, the Chinese didn't go about colonizing. The East Indians didn't go about colonizing. Alright? There's where it is, yeah. Alright? The Africans didn't go about, those Hamites, they didn't go about colonizing. But the so-called white man, alright, they went to through the four corners of the earth colonizing. Alright, the Chinese and the East Indians and the Africans, they were colonized by the so-called white man. Alright, I want to say colonized, that's just a pretty word, you know, to camouflage the word which is truly conquest. Because colonization goes into what? Into conquest. And in order for you to achieve your conquest, for your conquest to be successful, is what? Mass genocide, mass bloodshed, mass, you know, slaughter. rape, robbery, thievery, alright? And the so-called white man is guilty upon that. On all those things, on all counts, he's guilty on all counts. Alright? Now, you have to understand, you have to understand this, you know, that, hey, that is just Esau being Esau. Alright? Because Esau is what? Let's go back to Psalms 50. Psalms 50. Psalms 50 and 19. Psalms 50 and 19, it reads, Thou givest thy mouth to evil, and thy tongue frameth deceit. Alright, thy tongue frameth deceit. Yeah, they give us their mouth to evil, to speak evil. Alright, and frame deceit. This is Esau. Alright, that deceitful man. Alright, verse 20, Thou sittest and speakest against thy brother, thou slanderest thine own mother's son. Alright? Thou slanderest thine own mother's son. Alright? They are the slanderer. Alright? Now as you could see there, he is making such bold claims, bold statements, I should say, you know, bold statements. Alright? But that will be only for the ignorant, you know. The ignorant, they don't know. The ones who are ignorant to the fact, you know, of the so-called white man, you know, they don't know. They don't have the slightest idea. They wouldn't have the slightest idea, and they would swallow it. They wouldn't have the slightest idea that man is literally, that man and that woman, the Edomite man and woman is literally lying, you know, between their teeth. Alright? Literally lying between their teeth. The wicked are estranged from the womb. They go astray as soon as they be born speaking lies. Alright? Because what these people will not tell you is that the reason why us Jakes, us so-called Negroes, Hispanics, and Native Americans, especially us Negroes, alright, the tribe of Judah, Benjamin, and Levi, especially us, what they wouldn't teach you and tell you is that they literally put up a whole system, alright, a whole system, alright, to keep us downtrodden and to keep us in prison, alright, and what have you, to keep us, you know, to keep us into a life of crime and all these things, you know. They set up a whole system so that, you know, we could fall into their trap. Which is actually the system is a trap. Alright, and they set up a system for us to fall into that trap. Okay? So that we could continue to be a benefit unto them. Alright? There's where it is. The ones who do not know, they wouldn't know. Alright? They wouldn't know of such things such as what? The 13th Amendment, you know, the prison industrial complex and these things. Alright? Because let me tell you something, the so-called white man Esau, they are the ones that, you know, that is responsible for niggerism. Alright, they are the ones responsible for our people, you know, just, you know, indulging in a whole bunch of folly. Alright, they are responsible. Now, would they take accountability of their responsibility of the, you know, pushing out an agenda and also a platform, alright, for us to fall into that trap, you know, via the platform to fulfill their agenda, alright, which goes into what the you know, the entertainment industry, where, you know, movie and music and all these things, you know, and sports and all these things. Alright? Because they wouldn't take responsibility, man. Alright? Take a look at the music. Take a look at the content on the TV and on social media and all these things that is highly promoted. Alright, that our people, our people hold high esteem in degrading themselves to the lowest. Alright, for a couple millions of dollars for a big check. Alright, whatnot, so forth. And hey, the platform is being owned by who? By Esau. Alright, so Esau is the one that invented niggerism. Alright? And it was all for what? For them to get a kicks off of us. Alright, and to benefit off of us. There's where it is. Alright? There's what it is. They wouldn't tell you about the prison industrial complex and the music industry. It goes hand in hand. They wouldn't tell you that. No, they wouldn't tell you that. Alright? They wouldn't dare tell you that. No, how would they? Why would they? Why should they? When they are the ones that is in charge, in where they could control the narrative and make such bold statements as that individual, that man there, that Edomite man and woman was saying. And the girl was right. Alright? The girl was right. But they try to use the pseudoscience to twist the whole thing. You understand what I'm saying? Because, for instance, alright, let's take a look at this. Bear with me. Alright, so let's take a look at this here. Alright, the prison industrial complex. Alright, for the younger brothers and sisters who don't know. Alright. And then now coming into this shoot here, The prison industrial complex. The prison industrial complex is a term coined after the military industrial complex of the 1950s, used by scholars and activists to describe the many relationships between institutions of imprisonment such as prisons, jails, detention facilities, and psychiatric hospitals, and various businesses that benefit from them. Various businesses that benefit from them. Because prison is a big business. Alright, prison is a big business for the prison owners and these big multi-billion dollar corporation, not million, multi-billion dollar corporation. Alright, because it is free labor. And you would see now how this prison industrial complex, which I'm going to explain, alright, you would see how it is tying straight into the 13th Amendment. So I really don't know what Esau was slick. I really don't know what slickness Esau trying to pull off there, but anyhow. Alright. And as you could see, they're giving you a chart here of the prison population and what have you. Alright. And as you can see, as in 2020, 2.5 million. Alright. And best believe out of that 2.5 million, I'm sure at least 3/4 of that prison population is Jakes, alright? So-called Negroes, Hispanics, and Native Americans, especially you so-called Negroes. But anyhow, it reads, the term is most often used in the context of the contemporary United States, where the expansion of the U.S. inmate population has resulted in economic profit and political influence for private prisons, because these prisons in America, alright, they are privately owned. It's not like in Trinidad here, where the prisons, the remand yard in Port of Spain, the Golden Grove, in Aruca, all right, and you have the Carrera Island prison. These prisons are state owned, all right, but despite the fact that it's state owned, all right, you still have these big corporations here in Trinidad, that still benefits for them, benefits off of it, Salakia. Like for instance, Amalgamated, all right, they have that multi-million-dollar contract for years since I was a little boy, all right, since I was a little boy. I know Amalgamated is the ones that doing the transporting of the prisoners, and then you have those who cook any meals and whatnot, who bring any food and the ingredients and whatnot, for the meals to feed the prisoners and whatnot, So yeah, prison is a business, man. This whole system was designed to keep Jake downtrodden, all right, so that what? They could benefit off of us, all right? So it says, on other companies that supply goods and services to government prison agencies, as I was just explaining. According to this concept, incarceration not only upholds the justice system, not only upholds the job, because it's like this is the foundation of the so-called justice system. All right, the so-called justice system. All right, but also subsidizes construction companies that operate prison food services and medical facilities. So, free labor. When I talk about the construction companies, when they get sentenced to do hard labor and whatnot, they send you on a construction site, or they send you in some plantation or whatnot, so forth, to plant potatoes and reap the potatoes, plant oranges, reap the oranges, apples, all these things, go on construction site, for free labor. All right. So it says, for food, and medical facilities, surveillance and corrections technology vendors, corporations that contract cheap prison labor. All right, because you have this organization in America that is called AFLAC. All right, I forget what's the meaning of AFLAC, but AFLAC is an entity that is made up of all these major conglomerates, all these major corporations, like Colgate and JC Penney and Coca-Cola and Pepsi and these elites, all right, and also Microsoft and all these things, because a lot of these technology, like Microsoft, also Lockheed Martin, the GPS system that is being be installed in these fighter jets and what have you, and for these missile systems and what have you. Who you think making them? You think it's those big companies? No. The employees of these companies themselves? No, it's prison labor, free labor, and that's how they become what, multi-billionaires and what have you. All right. They're enriching themselves through Jake. All right, there's where it is. Don't get it twisted. So what are we? Corporations that contract cheap prison labor, correction officers, unions, private probation companies, criminal lawyers, and lobby groups that represent them. All right, all these things here they benefit. With all the prisoners, with all the prison system, it wouldn't have this so-called justice system with all these things attached to it. The lawyers, the judges, the magistrates, the police, the bailiffs, this, that, the other. All these things is connected to what? To the prison industrial complex. All right. which is part of this system. All right. The term also refers more generally to interest groups who, in their interactions with the prison system, prioritize financial gain over rehabilitating criminals. All right, we don't have to go through all that. You have to go and read it out yourself. All right, but just giving you a rough breakdown, a rough thing here concerning this prison industrial complex. Now, what I'm going to do is come out of this, all right, and tie it into this here, which is the 13th Amendment. Now let's go into this. All right, the 13th Amendment to the United States Constitution. Watch this. And you would, with this here now, it will give you the clear picture of why our people are the main ones that is populating the prison system throughout the United States and throughout the four corners of the earth. Not just in the United States, not just Babylon. All right, but it says here the 13th Amendment to the United States Constitution abolished slavery, so-called because slavery ain't been abolished. That's what the fool you want tell you. All right, for the gullible ones. All right. All right, abolish slavery and involuntary servitude except as a punishment for a crime. Except as a punishment for a crime. So you see the reason why they need jigs to influctuate, to mass populate their prison system. All right, because they say they abolish slavery, but except unless you commit a crime. All right. So now this is the situation here, because when this was implemented, as you could see here, let me just read a little bit more, and I will expound on something here. The amendment was passed by the Senate on April 8, 1864, by the House of Representatives on January 31st, 1865, and ratified by the required 27 of the then 36 states on December 6, 1865, and proclaimed on December 18th. It was the first of the three Reconstruction Amendments adopted following the American Civil War. Because this is the thing here, you have to understand this, all right? Remember slavery down in the South, slavery was what? Slavery was privatized, all right? Slavery was owned by a slave master. He was on a plantation, all right? And the slave master, he owned you, you were your slave, you were the property of your slave masters, all right? But the Civil War, which many of our people were fooled into thinking that the Civil War was actually fought to free us. No, the Civil War was actually fought, all right, to keep us into corporate slavery, all right, where we are no longer owned by the privatized plantation owners, but actually we are owned by the government. All right, we are not really even the government. We are owned by these major corporations, because it's the corporation, these big wigs, these major corporations, they are the ones that pull the shots. They are the ones that select, all right, and make you feel that you elect your president, but they are the ones that selected your president for you, your leader for you. All right. So what you have here, and what you have here was your Abraham Lincoln and whatnot. These were the men who were responsible for the 13th Amendment. It just goes to show that, hey, all this small booty, or this we say it in Trinidad, small booty, big booty, same shot. All right, because Abraham Lincoln, he wasn't too far backward from his southern counterparts. All right, but just they had a trick way. Okay, they had a trick way. They had a very trick way in doing their things. You know, they had a very smart way. All right, That's why I would rather Edomite from the south, because at least they will let me know that they hate my ass. They hate my black ass. Alright? It's those ones up in the north, they are the ones that you have to fear for, because they are the ones, they are the ones that will go by crafty counsel. Alright? Crafty counsel. You'll find I ranting too much, but I had to break this down, as fine as possible. Alright? I had to break this down as fine as possible and show you all how deep this thing is, for the younger brothers and sisters. The other brothers and bigger brothers, and they don't know. Right? This is for the younger brothers and sisters, So so the 13th Amendment, this is how it's timing with the prison system, with the prison industrial complex. When they implement that with a plan to bring back Jake into slavery, but this slavery will be under the government, by the way of the prison system. Because what they had done when they had implemented this amendment to the Constitution, alright, they also attached they started implemented certain laws, new laws, laws like jaywalking and loitering and whatnot, because you had to understand, remember, they took us from Africa, they stole us from Africa, alright, brought us here under harsh conditions, under slavery, whatnot, so forth, and when they so-called abolished slavery, alright, we were left with nothing more than just the clothes on our backs, if we had any at all, alright. Remember, we came here, alright, we have no land, we have no nothing. Alright, so when they let us go, it's like, we had nowhere to go. Alright, so Jake was being incarcerated now for petty matters. Alright, again, it goes back to the crafty counsel. Alright, they are crafty counsel. So Jake now being incarcerated for these petty crimes and whatnot, alright, bound now to the 13th Amendment, alright, have to end up going right back into servitude, alright, to enrich these major corporations and what have you. Alright, there is what it was. True, right? Free labor, free prison labor. So this was the reason for the prison industrial complex with all these prisons, alright, these privatized prisons, working hand in hand with these big corporations and whatnot, so forth, because everybody getting a kickback, alright. So what they do, alright, they depress Jake, they oppress Jake, the red line Jake, put Jakes in the ghettos, give them less opportunities in order for them to strive, Salakia, and grow and blossom and what have you, so forth, and start to do what? Start to give Jake, start to feed Jake, with niggerism, there where the niggerism start to come in, So, they start to put the drugs in the community, the guns in the community, and what have you, yeah, and use the platform of music and what have you, alright, because no longer now the music has any positive force behind it, alright, because these record labels, they are in cahoots with the prison industrial complex system, alright. This is where it is. Yeah? That's why when I go to Psalms, taking the book of Psalms, the other way. Psalms 83. Psalms 83, and I think it's verse 4, where it reads what? Psalms 83 and 4, they have said, come, and let us cut them off from being a nation, alright, that the name of Yasharallah may be no more in remembrance. And they put it into good practice, because remember, what has taken place with us is the curses. This is something this is an integral thing. a highly integral thing that you cannot, you cannot, there's a word that is always used, oh Lordy, Lord, negate. Alright? This is something that you cannot negate. You have to always put the curses into consideration. Alright? Because, hey, the scripture talk about that. In the curses. Alright? Which I will get in a bit. Alright? I just want to show this video, this video here to prove a point. Bear with me. Alright? Taking this here from KRS-One. Alright? And watch this.
Murder. This is what they pushing on our people. So now when somebody like me.
Who is it this he's speaking about? He's speaking about these record execs. Alright, these elites that own all these record companies and whatnot, these record labels. Alright, this is what they do, this is what they push. Alright, because there's a video, I think was Amon Ibad, also Elder Apostle Gabar. He had done one also too, on a video that was circulating, with one of the Bone Thugs, I think it was Lazy Bone. Alright, where he gives his testimony of going into a meeting with some record execs in a well-to-do mansion, in a big mansion, and they were given, it was him and a couple of the rappers, he didn't call no names, but they were given contracts to sign, and within those contracts they would promise hefty sums of money, that they promote, that they sing, niggerism songs, violent songs, kill a nigger, shoot a nigger, rob a nigger, this, that, the other, so those songs could be, heavily played on the airwaves and whatnot to influence Jake, for Jake to go out and, just be a part of a whole bunch of niggerism. Let's put it that way. Alright, so that Jake now, when they go and take part in the niggerism and what have you, and the law enforcement manage to get their hands on them, whatnot, so forth, and they fall into the trap, fall into the system. Alright. What you do the math. You do the math there. Alright, you add it up. Yes, so you gotta see now how the reason why the prison population is filled with so much Negroes, especially. Alright, because they are the ones, take a look, just take a look at the music that you have today, and look at the artists. Look, I don't be like for instance, alright, Prince Swanee. Alright. Prince Swanee, all his songs, is shoot this one, shoot that one, shoot the other one, I bust my gun at this or that or the other. Alright. Take a look at all the Trinidad artists, Listen to the music that they sing. That alone should tell us something. Alright. Take a look at the hip hop. Alright, the hip hop that you have today. The hip hop of yesteryear and the hip hop that you have today is of two totally different genres, two totally different mindset, two totally different way of writing, and whatnot, so forth, Take a look at it. Just the other day, Elder Manata Zagba did a video on the one which she called Sexy Red and Suki Hana. I took in the video. I'm speaking about the music video itself. I took in the Elder Manata Zagba video, but I took in the music video itself, at the side. And there's a whole bunch of niggerism, and this is what our people love. This is what our people graft towards. Alright, this is what captivates the mind of our people, especially the young generation. And they enact these things, they carry out these things, whatnot, so forth, until what it had them in big trouble. Alright, so take in this. I'm gonna continue with this here. Still lucky about that.
Stand up and say, yo, you pushing death on the people. They say, man, get him out of here quick. Shut him down. Don't give him a voice. Don't give him a mic.
Can. And it's like Bushman. Because look friends, like myself and Captain Nagard, you know, we have a different style of listening in music, you know, compared to the rest of the younger brothers. Myself, Nagard, brother Irashalam, you know, because we have a older generation, you know, Nagard in his 40s, brother Irashalam in his 40s, I am early 30s. You know, I'm late 30s, Salakia. You know, so we come from a different era. We come from an era of Sizzler. If you wanna, you know, thing is Sizzler, Capleton, Terry Ganzi, Buju, you know. Even if you're listening to dancehall, you know, the dancehall of yesteryear to the dancehall of today is two totally different effect it having upon you, you know. When I listen to Red Rat and Goofy and Buju and Bounty, Beanie, and the list goes on and on and on and on. It's something totally different to Skeng and Skilly Bang, Prince Swanee, and whatnot, so forth, you know. And as I was saying, Bushman, you know, Bushman had some good songs, and Bushman was complaining the other day, he was even brought to tears, you know, because the radio wouldn't play his songs. Alright, songs that uplift, songs to send a message, you know. Songs that will make you think. Alright? These artists will not get no play. The only ones that will get play is the ones who promoting a whole bunch of folly. You understand what I'm saying?
So I come to the hood and I say, yo, they're killing our people. Let's talk amongst us. I don't need no radio station to tell me how to talk to my people. But that's the answer to your question. Why are there not more of these? Because, and by the way, we do them all the time. Shout out to, man, I can't even go. 2009, we did another one with Leo and, oh man, a whole bunch of artists jumped on that with Busta and Nelly and Talib, and everybody got on it. But again, took it to the radio. We don't want to play that message. Why do you want to play that message? It's not the demographic. What's the demographic? We want to see bitches and hoes. That's what we want to talk. Pimps and gangsters. We want that gun and the drugs. This is what corporate America is pushing on our people.
See what I'm saying? Because why? Of the prison industrial complex. Because they need to have a high influx. They need to have a high influx of Jake in their prisons to keep them enslaved. This is their crafty way of enslaving Jake. This is why I said I would rather, if I had to keep house with any Edomite, I would rather keep house with a southern Edomite. Notice, I wouldn't trust him. Scripture says never trust thine enemy. I wouldn't trust him, but at least I know where that Edomite stands. You see those Edomites up north? Yeah, your New York and your Detroit and your Connecticut, you know, your Philadelphia and whatnot, so forth. Yeah, your Chicago and whatnot. Yeah. These are the Edomites that you have to think twice about being around, because these are the ones that they hate you but they would not show it. They are silent killers. Alright? These are the ones who will shake your hand, smile with you, say, oh, they're marching with you, whatnot, so forth. But when I check it out, these are the ones that they're secretly in these think tanks and whatnot, so forth. You know, they all spies, you know, the think tanks, and, you know, they are part of a certain organization that is all about your downfall. Don't get it twisted. It's serious. It's big and serious.
Turn the radio on. It's criminal. It's criminal. Police department should go and arrest the president of GCI. They should arrest these people. It's criminal what they're actually doing. And I'm not talking just for myself. Like, oh, you don't play my music, so I'm mad. Nah, I don't worry about that. I'm talking about right from now, let's just turn the radio on. And it's programmed. So what are you programming us for? And that's what they call it, program. What you programming us for? More death, more murder, more jail time?
Con.
This is what. So if we're gonna stand here and allow these broadcasters to pump this nonsense into our children's head, now you got the issues every hood got.
Can't. Because this is what they want. So that they can continue to make the money, all right, free labor from the prison industrial complex. That is the reason why America will never, ever, ever, ever get rid of the 13th Amendment. All right? They would never get rid of the 13th Amendment because the 13th Amendment, the day they abolish the 13th Amendment, all right, is, hey, their dog's dead. All right? They will never abolish the 13th Amendment. When Trump was coming into power and Kanye was supporting Trump and whatnot, Kanye asked Trump, you know, if he when he gets into power, if he would abolish the 13th Amendment. Trump never answered him. Trump served his term, he didn't abolish the 13th Amendment. Come on. Because they are all in this together. Alright? I'm going to continue a little bit.
And look at it too. You know, we want to criticize the police. Everybody want to point fingers at the cops. And look at me. I got the #1 record out. No, don't even start. Murder.
Alright, so I have a next one. Let's take a listen of what Meek Mills had to say. Yeah? If you could read and all, if you read it out there, you know. Meek Mills says rappers get paid if they talk about negative topics in songs. And they get hefty paychecks, man. Hefty paychecks on a regular. They get hefty paychecks. Okay? Just to spit the garbage so that niggas, you know, you jakes, alright, you know, you two-toed jakes could just constantly, you know, be in your hooliganism, alright, and get yourself all wrapped up and trapped up in the system, you know, to be a statistic. Oh boy. And it's a crafty counsel, it's a crafty counsel. And this is why, you know, the scripture that I'm going to come out with next here, after this video here, it will open your eyes to something. Let's go with this here. I will play this in its entirety.
Here's more when we rap about more ignorant stuff, so I make sure I even align and come up talking on stages like this. But you guys, the NAACP open up doors for people like me to be able to power forward, because the things that fund us, that don't power me forward, you know?
People who own the labels own the prisons. So, literally the same people, literally the same people who own the labels own private prisons.
I wonder why you see the same stereotypes of black and brown people depicted in hip-hop music. What if I told you that some of the biggest music companies are in cahoots with private prison owners? And that the rap music we listen to is not only meant to entertain, but to verbally and visually support criminal behaviors that funnel disenfranchised people into these private prisons. Lastly, what if I told you?
Yeah, so he said the last thing he said is, what if I told you that he has proof? And he has proof. I wouldn't doubt it. I make a mistake and pause it a little 2 seconds early. But that's nothing. The last thing he said is, what if I told you that, you know, he has proof showing that, you know, these, as I was just saying, you know, the prison industrial complex and also the record labels, these record execs and whatnot, these record labels and whatnot, they are all in cahoots. And yeah, they are all in cahoots. Hey, come on, man. The scripture say what? They are wiser than Daniel, right? Not the, hey, let's go to Exodus 2. Is it Exodus 2? I think was 4, I think. No, not 4. Is it Exodus 2? It was Exodus 1 actually. Exodus 1 and 8. It reads, Now there arose up a new king. I'll highlight this. Alright. Now there arose up a new king over Egypt, which knew not Joseph, and he said unto his people, Alright. Let me see. No, I will start from verse 6. Verse 6. Alright. So it reads, Exodus 1:6, and Joseph died, and all his brethren, and all that generation. Alright. And the children of Israel were fruitful, and increased abundantly, and multiplied, and waxed exceeding mighty, and the land was filled with them. Alright, this is when we was in Egypt. Now there arose up a new king over Egypt, which knew not Joseph. And he said unto his people, Behold, the people of the children of Israel are more and mightier than we. Come on, let us deal wisely with them. Let us multiply, and it come to pass that when there falleth out any war, they join also unto our enemies and fight against us. So get them up out of the land. Alright, therefore they did set over them taskmasters to afflict them with the burdens, and they built for Pharaoh treasure cities and Pithom and Ramses. Alright, and this is what the scripture saying, this the scripture in line, it's this place where it's called spiritually Sodom. Alright, spiritually Sodom and Egypt. Alright? Because it's the same thing that they have done, these Edomites. That's as what Pharaoh, these Hamites, these Egyptians have done unto us. It's the same thing. It's the same thing that Esau has done unto us. They dealt with us wise and craftily. Alright? Wise and craftily. That's why we're in the position that we're in here now. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah? That is why we're in this position that we're in here now. But again, you cannot negate the curses. You cannot negate the curses, because when you go to Deuteronomy chapter 28, I think it's 43 or 44, let me see. No, that's not, bear with me, eh? Not 54, that's not. Alright, this is Deuteronomy 28, 41 Salakia. It reads, what? Thou shalt beget sons and daughters, but thou shalt not enjoy them, for they shall go into captivity. Alright? Thou shalt beget sons and daughters, but thou shalt not enjoy them, for they shall go into captivity. What do you think they're speaking about? This is speaking about the prison system. Alright, to take a look at the population of the prison system. Who is the majority? Now, is it because Jacob is more violent than Esau? No. It's because Esau set up a system and set up a trap. Alright, Esau set up a system, set up a trap to entrap Jacob. Alright, to incarcerate Jacob. Alright, so that they could benefit off of Jacob. Because when I listened to the beginning of the video, with the first clip that I played, the very first clip that I played, where the man was saying, because the girl asked him something about white privilege, and he was saying that is a myth. That is a lie. That there is no such thing as white privilege. There is such thing as white privilege, so-called white privilege. All right, because there are many examples, many instances. All right, this is facts. This is facts. This is not conspiracy theorists. All right, this is facts. They can fact check how much they want. This is facts. All right, there are many instances where Jake commit the same crime as an Edomite, and what the so-called white man is either he get away scotch-free, all right, he get away scotch-free, or he get a slap on the wrist, probation, whatnot, so forth. When Jake Jake might do the same misdemeanor crime as that Edomite, and what? He will get 10, 15, 20 years. Alright? And there are many instances where Jake been accused of a crime falsely, alright? Been framed by the police and whatnot, so forth, and innocently incarcerated for 30 years. Now, why are they doing that? Because they know they will have, they could get 30 years, they could milk 30 years out of you of free labor. This is the reason why they have the plea bargains and whatnot. Don't watch it just so. This is the reason why they have thing called plea bargain, and they see they want to implement that in Trinidad. Alright? Where they come to you, whether you do the crime or not, alright? And they will tell you, alright, here what's going on. The maximum for this crime is 20 years, but if you plead guilty, whether you innocent or guilty, they want you to plead guilty. Yeah? You plead guilty, we will give you 4 years and you will come out in 3. Or we will give you 6 years and you will come out in 4 under good behavior, whatnot, so forth. Alright? All this is the reason why these people, they're very crafty. The crafty. Alright? They're very, very crafty. This is the reason why. That's why when I go to it's in Isaiah, but I can't remember exactly where in Isaiah. Come back here. Take out that. Let me see. Boom, 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 boom. Come here. Isaiah 42:22. Let's take a look at that. Alright. And I'm going to go back to the Deuteronomy 28. Alright, so Isaiah 42. Let's take a look at that. Isaiah 42 and 22. What it says. It says, but this is a people robbed and spoiled. They are all of them snared in holes, yeah, and they are hid in prison houses. Yeah, therefore a prey and none deliver it, for a spoil and none say it restore. Yeah, none deliver it for a spoil and none say it restore. Alright, they are all snared in prison houses for a spoil. Where's that spoil? Free labor, man. Free labor. And none deliver it, none say it restore. That's why when I go to Jeremiah, I think it's 5 and 15. I think the scripture just come to my head to what I about Shimon Shai. Jeremiah 5 and I think it's 15. No, not 5, but let me see. No, not 5 and 15. Let me see I wonder if it's Jeremiah 15 and 5. Jeremiah 15 and 5. Let me see. Hoping. Yes. Jeremiah 15 and 5. Alright. So it says what? For who shall have pity upon thee, O Jerusalem, or who shall bemoan thee, or who shall go aside to ask how thou doest? Yeah, the scripture say what? None restore, right? The nation don't care, right? Esau don't care, right? And the thing about it is, who will come to ask how we do, and who will restore us? Who will come to see about our well-being and tell us the truth? Show us the truth. Which one of these heathen nations, especially Esau, Edom, would do that? No. No. So nice try, Esau. You can get that with the suck-ups. You know, the suck-ups who suck up to you. Yeah? The Sambos and the coons and whatnot. You will get them. You will catch them with that nonsense. Alright, because they don't know better. They know the Yabashim Yashai not dealing with them. Alright. This here is for the hope, for the elect. Alright, this here is for the elect. And the elect will get this, and the elect will see it through all their lives. Alright, that's why I'm going back to the Deuteronomy. It's 28, and I think it's 65. Deuteronomy 28:65. Yeah? What the Lord say? I will start from 64. Deuteronomy 28:64. And the Lord shall scatter thee among all people from one end of the earth even unto the other. And there thou shalt serve other gods which neither thou nor thy fathers have known, even wood and stone. But to the point, 65. And among these nations thou shalt find no ease. Yeah, among these nations thou shalt find no ease. Alright? Neither shall the sole of thy foot have rest, but the Lord shall give thee a trembling of heart and a failing of eyes and sorrow of mind. And how people are suffering from these curses to a high extent. Verse 66, and thy life shall hang in doubt before thee. Alright? And this does not only go into us being killed like dogs in the street, you know, whether it be by our own people or by the police or whatnot, so forth. This also going into what us being incarcerated into their system, man. This way it is. Alright? And thou shalt fear day and night, and shall have no assurance of thy life. Alright, because the mindset that Jake carries right now is either in order for me to make it, is either if I make it, is either I dead or in prison. There's where it is. This is the mindset that Jake carrying, because this is the environment. This is the environment that Esau has provided for them, for us, for Jake, for 2/3, I should say. This is the environment. Alright? They push that environment upon us. But what does scripture say? Proverbs, I think it's Proverbs 27:12. While I go to that scripture, or 12:27. Let me see Proverbs 12. Yes. Actually 26. Proverbs 12:26. It reads, the righteous is more excellent than his neighbor, but the way of the wicked seduceth them. Alright, and our people has been greatly seduced, alright, because the curses upon us, is upon us so heavy, and Jake that's trying to find a way out by any means necessary. By any means necessary. So, if they have to take part in drugs, whatever it may be, just to make it out of the ghetto, just to make it out of the hood, they will go by it, right? According to 50, get rich or die trying. And there's the mindset that 2/3, 2/3 of Jake follow by. All because what? They're trying to get out. Alright? But this is and Esau knows this. Esau knows this. That's why he provides that platform. Alright? Whether it be selling drugs or guns, dealing with guns, pimps, prostitution, whatever it may be, pornography, and the list goes on and on and on. They make sure and have a platform so that Jake, wow, boy. And then you want to come and talk that shit. Look, for instance, alright, who knows, I don't know if anybody know about a movie called Kill the Messenger. It's about a movie about a journalist by the name of Jeffrey Webb. I think it's Jeffrey Webb was his name. Let me see if I could Google that stuff, man. Let me see. I think it's Jeffrey Webb was his name. Let me see. Jeffrey Webb. Is Jeffrey Webb was his name, boy? Jeffrey Webb, the We just call them again by journalists. Jeffrey, I forget his name, boy. I think, but no, there's a different person. Just now, bear with. Gary Webb was the name. Gary Webb was the name of the was the name of the journalist. All right, now watch this. Right, we got a little thing on this guy here. Gary Webb. This is the guy here, Gary Stephen Webb. All right. Now this guy here, watch this. This guy here, he was an investigative journalist. All right, for a small newspaper in Seattle. All right, Seattle, Washington, something like that. All right, now he was investigating the CIA. Now, what the CIA was doing, the CIA was flooding the streets of California, flooding the streets of Los Angeles, mainly in Jake territory where Jake is residing and what have you. All right, and using the proceeds from those cocaine sales, to fund civil war over in El Salvador, the Contra wars. All right, and he connect all the dots and prove it without the shadow of a doubt that this is what the CIA was been doing. All right, getting the drugs from the Colombians and whatnot, selling it to Jake in the communities and what have you, and taking the money, you know, and even hiring Jake. All right, who you feel this guy Rick Ross, the real Rick Ross, how you feel he got it? How you feel he was doing anything? He was actually selling cocaine for the government. He was selling cocaine for the CIA. This is a proven fact. Alright, this is a proven fact. Now this guy, Gary Webb, alright, he began his career working for newspapers in Kentucky and Ohio. Alright, blah blah blah, winning numerous, let me see. Alright, Webb is best known for his Dark Alliances series, which appeared in the Mercury News in 1996. Alright, the series examined the origins of the crack cocaine trade in Los Angeles and claimed that members of the anti-communist Contra rebels in Nicaragua had played a major role in creating the trade, using cocaine profits to finance their fight against the government. Alright, in Nicaragua, it is also stated that the Contras may have acted with the knowledge and protection of the Central Intelligence Agency. Alright, and by him cracking open that can of worms and whatnot, he was assassinated, and they label it as suicide. Alright, but here the thing, they label his death as suicide, alright, by 2 bullets to the head. Yeah, this man got 2 bullets to the head and they label that as suicide. Come to hell on, come on, Esau. So you see what I'm talking about? Yeah, you see what I'm talking about? Gary Webb was the guy, not Jeffrey Webb. Gary Webb was the guy, man. Gary Webb. Yeah? And Esau want to talk this shit. Alright, the reason why Jake is influcting this prison system, alright, is because they set it up like that. They set it up like that. Alright, they set it up like that. Let's take a look at Habakkuk 2. Let's take a look at Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 15. Yeah? Yeah, Habakkuk 2 and 15. It says, "Woe unto him that giveth his neighbor drink, that puttest thy bottle to him, and makest him drunken also, that thou mayest look on their nakedness." And this is what they did. This is what they did. This is what Esau did. Alright? They are the ones that give us the drugs, but not give us the guns, you know. They make sure and have us in squalor conditions first, have us in condition that will be desperate for any alleviation out of the problem that we are in. Alright? And then come now to accuse us. You know, shed light upon us and accuse us and what have you so forth. This is Esau. Alright? But what it is, hey, verse 16, thou art filled with shame for glory. Drink thou also and let thy foreskin be uncovered. Because why? You all are being exposed. You know why you all are being exposed? We will show you why. Going right back to that same Psalms 50, but verse 20. We go into after this here. And let thy foreskin be uncovered. The cup of the Lord's right hand shall be turned unto thee, and shameful spewing shall be upon thy glory. Right? Why? Let's go back to the Psalms. Go right back to the Psalms. Psalms chapter 50, but verse 20. This time verse 20. Yeah? No, not 20. 21 actually. 21 select here. These things hast thou done, and I kept silence. Yeah, these things, all these wickedness that you have done upon us, and the Lord kept silence. Thou thoughtest that I was altogether as such as one as thyself. Yeah, they thought that they were in cahoots and in league with the Lord, because hey, they are the ones that, you know, that cause us to do all these wickedness, because they put a platform, they set up a whole platform, and then what? Where you have now? They now go back to the Lord and complain, and these are the people you call them your chosen people. These are your delicate ones. Look at what they're doing. Look at the mannerism that they are carrying about in. Yeah? But what the Lord said, alright? But I will reprove thee and set them in order before thine eyes. Alright? And this is where now you're having the Lord's men out on the highways and the byways, you know, pushing this word, teaching this word, getting the understanding of this word, finding out who you are, alright? Finding out who you are and exposing you. Because remember, remember Isaiah. Let's take a look at Isaiah. Isaiah chapter 32 and 5, I think. Yes, Isaiah chapter 32 and verse 5. The vile person shall no more be called liberal, nor the churl said to be bountiful. Alright? Because remember, you were the one, you were the one that deceived the whole world, after you do all that violence upon the whole world and what have you, you now come and you change up your whole outlook, you know, you're well shaven, right? You're all shaven up, you know, with suit and tie and whatnot, so forth, all soft spoken and whatnot, you know, to deceive the world that, hey, you all are the saviors of the world, you all are the ones, you know, that, you know, the world should look up to be upright and whatnot, so forth, when truly and what, you all are the vile person. Yeah, when the scripture say, for the vile person will speak villainy, and his heart will work iniquity, to practice hypocrisy and to utter error against the Lord, to make empty the soul of the hungry, and he will cause the drink of the thirsty to fail. The instruments, which is the crafty counsel, the instruments also of the churl are evil. He devised wicked devices to destroy the poor with lying words. With lying words. You heard the lies that guy spoke. Alright? And try to bring about his pseudoscience to prove his lies. With lying words, even when the needy speak it upright. But the liberal devised liberal things, the Lord say he will set them in order before your eyes, and by liberal things shall he stand. You get what I'm coming from? This is what it is. This is what it is. But Esau, you fail to realize something. Alright? You fail to realize something. Alright? You fail to realize that there is something called what? Something called recompense. Revelation chapter 13 and verse 9. Revelation chapter 13 and 9. If any man have an ear, let him hear. Let him hear. If you have understanding, understand this. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. Yeah? He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. And oh boy, this is how you live by. This is on your track record. Alright? You led us into captivity, still have us in captivity. Alright? Still benefiting off of our captivity. Alright? The Lord said what? If you lead into captivity, you shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here is the patience. Here is the patience and the faith of the saints. Alright, this is what we're patiently waiting for. This is what we are patiently waiting for, Esau. Yeah? 1 Thessalonians, actually 2 Thessalonians. 2 Thessalonians, chapter 1, verse 6. Chapter 1, verse 6, man. 2 Thessalonians. Seeing it is a righteous thing with the Most High to recompense tribulation to them that what? That trouble you. You understand? Because why? Why? Galatians 6 and 7. Yeah? Let's take a look at that quick. Galatians chapter 6, verse 7. Yeah? Be not deceived. Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua is not mocked. For whatsoever a man soweth, that shall he also reap. That shall he also reap. For he that soweth to his flesh shall of the flesh reap corruption. And this is what you sow to, your flesh. But he that soweth to the Spirit shall of the Spirit reap everlasting life, which is the what? The elect of the nation of Israel. You understand what I'm saying, man? Yeah? Yeah? You all are slanderers, man. Yeah, you all are a bunch of slanderers and liars, man. This is where it is. But what did the Lord say? Revelation 12. Revelation chapter 12, and I will start at verse 7. Revelation 12 and 7. As a matter of fact, I will go straight to the point. Verse 10. Revelation 12 and 10 for time's sake. Then an hour and 17 minutes in this already. But I had was to go in that. I just to break it down fine as possible. Alright, Revelation 12:10, and I heard a loud voice saying in heaven, now is come salvation and strength, because this is what we're waiting on. This is what we're patiently waiting on, because we're sick and fed up in this place. We're sick and fed up of being oppressed. We're sick and fed up of being downtrodden. We're sick and fed up of these living among these people who is only setting traps for us, alright, for us to fall. For us to fall. We are sick and fed up of it. Alright? And I heard a loud voice saying in heaven, now is come salvation and strength, which is who? Yahweh Shai, and the angels coming on those chariots, and the kingdom of our power and the power of his Hamashiach. For the accuser, the accuser of our brethren is cast down, which accused them before our power day and night. Alright? As I just read in Habakkuk 2 and 15, they gave us that bottle unto their neighbor to drink, to expose the nakedness. Alright? They are the ones that come into the ghettos, come into the hoods, come into the favelas, come into the barandos, however they call it, Alright? They are the ones that come in and do the mess, start the mess, and what and so forth, and then go before the Lord to accuse us. Is these your people? Look at what they do, and how could you choose these people? How could you love these people over us? This, that, the other. You understand? Esau, boy, Esau, the so-called white man, Esau. But again, you will not get away, Esau. This is the very last scripture that I'm going to read, which is Daniel chapter... Oh, not Daniel actually, it's Ezekiel. Ezekiel chapter 12. Not 12, what the hell do not 25. Ezekiel chapter 25. And I will start at verse 12. Ezekiel 25:12. Thus saith the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, because that Edom hath dealt against the house of Judah by taking vengeance, and hath greatly offended, and revenged himself upon them. Therefore, thus saith the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushai, I will also stretch out mine hand upon Edom, and will cut off man and beast from it, and I will make it desolate from Teman, and they of Dedan shall fall by the sword. And I will lay vengeance upon Edom, and I will lay vengeance upon Edom by the hand of my people Israel, and they shall do in Edom according to mine anger and according to my fury, and they shall know my vengeance, saith the Lord. So you could continue and slander on your pseudoscience and all that bag of bull crap, your critical race theory and all that shit, alright, all that nonsense. It ain't going to stop your judgment. It ain't going to make you escape your judgment. It ain't going to, you could continue to shed a bad light, because that's what you was created to do. Alright, you're negative, that is what you was created to do. You were created to be the wicked, to do wickedly. Alright, you cannot do any better. Alright, you cannot do any better. Talk the truth, at least for once now. Say, tell the girl, well, here is the reason. The reason why there is so much niggers, say it so if you want to pay it so, or so-called blacks, alright, in the prison system is because we set it up like that. We put things in place, such as the 13th Amendment, alright, and the prison industrial complex and all these things. We put these things in place and whatnot, so forth, alright, because why? We are all about our gain, and these people is our gain. So I hope you all was edified. Really and truly, I hope you younger brothers and sisters who now coming into the truth was edified through the power and spirit of Yahweh Ba'asham Yahushai. Alright? Study this thing, man. Study this thing and get into it, man. Alright, so with that, say Kal Halayam. La Allah Yanawa Yahweh Ba'asham Yahushai. Ba'asham Rakahapadash Barakata Yahweh Barakata Yahushai. Barakata Yahweh Barakata Yahushai. Barakata Yahweh Barakata Yahushai. Double honors unto the apostles and elders of Great Millstone that rule well. Peace, blessings, salutation unto the brothers who preach and teach in the truth through the four corners of the earth, risking their lives and their freedom to do so no more ever, more than ever, for this truth. Shalom unto the spectable Israelites, and shalom unto the very few but faithful Akwatiam. Alright, your brother Kahan from the GMS Prophetic Vibration Camp saying shalom, shalom, shalom.